What's up, guys? Relatively easy job today, assuming the front brake calipers are not seized, or, well, assuming they're moving and in good shape. We are going to have to bleed this system just because we're taking off the entire master cylinder, which is leaking. As I've shown you before, this is the 83 Honda Shadow, and we're taking the leaking one off and putting the one that is hopefully not leaking that I bought on eBay. This one came to me. I know it's not leaking down here, which is where that one's leaking. The old one just needs a rebuild, but you know, sometimes you just swap parts. So what you're going to need is, I think it's a 5mm hex key right here. That one fits there, and that is a 5mm hex. And then grab your favorite 12mm wrench or socket. We are going to pull back this boot, disconnect the banjo bolt, and yes, you will have fluid in here, so be careful. Drape a towel over this or something, just make sure you catch all that and pull this free. We can pull this out and set this aside. I'm just going to crack this so it's ready to go. Basically, we're going to undo these two bolts and just swap them, and then put the new bolt, new master on, obviously, and it's going to come off with this handle, which is actually bent. I'm not sure this one's not bent, so awesome. So we're going to swap this over. Basically, pop these two off, pull it aside. Like I said, I'm going to loosen this real quick so it's easy to pull off when I have this free. Otherwise, you're going to be wrestling with holding this and breaking this free. Is this leaking? Nope, it's not leaking. All right, so that's what we're going to do. By the magic of cinematography, I have the new one on, and the guy that shipped this to me did stuff some paper towel in there, so you make sure that comes out cleanly and doesn't leave any residue in there. And that's all before you put on the new, you should put on new crush washers and banjo bolt, but we're obviously going with our old one. Hopefully that's not what's leaking. So anyway, new one on, and you can place this wherever you want, basically. I think I put it in about the same spot, but you can loosen these guys and just move it up, back, forth, left, right, up, down, whatever you want to do. And here it says up, so I guess make sure that goes up. I guess it's important. So new one is mounted. Now you do have to pull off the brake. Now it already pulled off a little bit. You do have to pull off the brake switch wires. I think that's actually what's holding it on here. And they will slide onto your new ones. Doesn't matter which one goes on which, I think, just so it completes the circuit. So I will do that. Pull those little guys off, slide them on, make sure they're making connection. And then we'll crack the banjo bolt and put it up here. Again, throw down a rag. I haven't actually opened anything up yet, and we're about to do that. So make sure you don't get any on your paint. Okay, we are installed. Tighten that down, and so basically we'll just keep this down here for now because we have to bleed it. But I wiped up all this, and we haven't pumped this at all because, well, there's definitely air in the system, but it should be just right here. And this wasn't full, but this thing's been upside down. It was shipped, all that good stuff. So we're probably going to open this up and check the fluid. And while we're at it, you see it says .3, so we could do .3 or .4. While we're at it, we can always steal parts off the other one. Hopefully these screws are pretty easily removed. Just stick your screwdriver on there and then tap it a little bit if it's stuck with a hammer. And a lot of times, if you can grip it, they come free. So, everything, I'm going to wipe it all down. Hopefully nothing is leaking on here, because that's what we had the problem before. I think the lower piston down here was leaking. It was just leaking out here and dropping on the floor. And I said, what is that on the floor? And as I realized, it was coming from this on the other one. So we should be good to go. And next thing would be bleeding the brakes and putting new fluid in. So like I said, hopefully everything's good down there. What I'll probably do is just try to pump this up, make sure I have no air in the line, and see if we get it. Might even be able to do that right now. Let's see, no pressure. This should be pumping down into here. If we get pressure, then obviously it has worked. All the air is sitting right in here. So what I really need to do is probably bleed it right here and crack the air and get it out of there, because as you can see, the air is just going to sit here and not be able to push past there. So I'll pump this up, hold it, crack it there, and probably get the air out of there. And then we should be able to have the master bled. And then we can bleed down through the line, which we shouldn't really have to do. What I meant to say was put new fluid down through the line. If you don't know how this works, pump this up a few times and it kept going to the bar. Look at that. Now I can't even make it to the bar. We have pressure now. And I used this Banjo bolt and cracked it and held it right here. And every time I did, a little sip of air came out. So I cracked it, let the air out, shut it real quick. I'm going to shut it before you let this free, because you'll suck the air back in. So right now, we built pressure. I'm going to do this. That took about 4 or 5 times. Pump this up 5 times. Let that open. And when you don't hear air coming out, which I think we're probably pretty good, will be perfect. You can see here, instead of air coming out, I have fluid, which is dripping down from this spot. It actually sprayed pretty good. Make sure I didn't get any on my tank. Looks like a little bit on my tank. So we're good to go now. I got plenty of pressure. See that? Build it back up. Pressure is good. Starts to contact right there. If you really push it, you can't even get it to the bar. So like I said, hopefully, well, I know this is functioning because we pushed fluid down through here, got the air out of there. Hopefully it's not leaking like the other one was. So that's it for today's video. I will pop this open and show you the fluid in there. Let's make sure that's clean. I do not know what the fluid looks like down through there, so it's working. So I'd love to take this thing out for a spin. What I do need to tell you is I tried starting it, and I believe it starts on starting fluid, and the gas that's sitting down in here is not good gas. So it's having trouble running on that. So I think I'm going to have to drain the fuel. What I'll probably do is separate it where I did before to feed it with new gas. It's up in there somewhere. And then I can use the fuel pump, and that'll test the fuel pump too. I'll push the gas out through. So I need to do that yet, get rid of all the old gas in there, so we can put fresh fuel in, and then she's ready to roll, I bet. So I'm gonna take this lid off so I can show you what's going on in there, and then that's it for this video. Okay, my screws came out real easy. Just a little bit of a Phillips head. I know you should have JIS, but we don't. Now, this is how easy changing out this master is. You can see there's a lot of liquid in here because this was flipped upside down and such. So, there you go. It's not that dirty. It's actually not bad at all. I'm going to wipe this off on the top. I don't know if that's moisture or if that is actually brake fluid. And then drop this back in. So everything's ready to go, bled out, so we could technically run this thing. So there you go. That's looking pretty decent. We'll, of course, get to the point where we change the brake fluid, but hopefully they are functioning quite nicely. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out and ride. Like and subscribe. See you there.